If you could have a community manager working for you 24/7, creating viral content for Twitter without you having to write anything. With this artificial intelligence agent, that's exactly what you can achieve. And we will do it by following a 4-step automated process. Number 1, autonomous research. The agent takes a topic from your list, analyzes Twitter in real time, and detects the most viral and relevant tweets. 2, intelligent content creation. With that foundation, it generates 3 unique threads with powerful hooks, solid development, and calls to action to engage with your audience. 3, automatic scheduling. In this case, we'll use blotato. The threads are sent directly to this platform and published at optimal times to maximize your reach. And number 4, total control. Everything will be recorded in a control sheet on Google Sheets. You just set it up once and that's it. If you would like to jump straight into action, the complete workflow is ready to import within our Vintage Well community. The link is below in the description. Join and access this and many more advanced automations. If you would like to undertake how to create this workflow from scratch, stay with us, let's get started. Well, the first step would be to set up the node, which in this case is the trigger, and basically it is the node that gives life to the system. What it does is activate it once a day, ensuring that everything works automatically. The next step is the research, and we will start it with the get topic node from Google Sheets. The good thing is that this step is quite simple. All we have to do is drag the node to our canvas and configure it. The first step would be to add the Google accounts and our credentials. This part of the setup can remain as it is. And step number 2 would be to select the correct operation. You need to make sure the get row operation is selected. Why? Because this node will review the rows of our Google Sheets. We must choose the correct document and sheet. In this case, we select the document, which in my case is called Twitter Threads, and choose the sheet we want to work on. And finally, very important, is to add a filter. We are going to name one of the columns as tweet created and add the creation value. This is super important because it will allow the system to detect which topics it needs to talk about when the node is activated. With this, when this node is activated, the system will be able to identify the appropriate topic to work on. Once we have configured the get topic node of Google Sheets, the next thing we need to do is search for tweets related to the topic we are interested in. For that, we will use the native node of X. The first step is to add that node to our workflow. Simply we drag it to the canvas and open it to configure. Now we need to add our credentials. If you already have them set up, you can skip this step, but if not, I'll explain how to do it here. First, we need to go to the developer portal of X. We log in with our account, and it's important that you copy the link we will use as a callback. After logging in, we are going to create a new project and a new application. This process is very simple. Just click on Create App, choose a project name, and that's it. In our project, we need to go to the section called Key and Tokens. There we will enter Settings, which is right next to it, and scroll down to find the user authentication settings section. We click on Edit to modify the permissions, and in this part, there are 2 important things you must check. In the App Permissions section, make sure the Read and Write option is selected. This will allow the application not only to read the information, but also to send content. In Type of App, we select the Web App option, and then in the App Info section, you will paste the callback link you copied earlier from N8N. And in the website field, you can put a generic site as your start account. In the next node, we select the resource and the operation. We select tweets as the resource and search as the operation, so that N8N searches for content based on our topic. We add this dynamic tag that comes directly from the get topic node in Google Sheets, so the system knows what to search for. And finally, we adjust the limit. It's recommended to start with 10 or 20 results and then increase it from there. Once you have set everything up, we proceed to the Run button. Click on it, and now we just have to wait for the results. At the moment, we see that the system has generated around 30 items ready to use. That's perfect. It's ready for the next part. The next node we use is a code node. It is simple, you just have to find it and add it to your canvas in N8N. This node has a super useful function. What it does is take all the tweets that are coming in and package them into a single bundle. This package will then be what you send to your AI agent for it to process and act according to how you set it up. Don't worry about the code, it wasn't something I did myself. In fact, I asked ChatGPT for help to do it, and you can do it too without any problem. It's something that anyone can easily set up, so you don't have to be an expert in programming. Now, in your workflow, the next step is to add the node that will be the AI agent. This agent has the key mission of taking the research we just conducted and transforming it into intelligent and ready to publish Twitter threads. This agent has three tools. The first is the OpenAI node. This is the brain of the agent, and what you have to do to configure it is simply add your credentials eh, and choose a language model. In this case, we used GPT-4 to get good results. The second, we use the think node, and this node allows it to generate coherence in the threads it creates. This ensures that the content is truly valuable. And the third is the parser node. This node is a quality supervisor. We provide it with a template so that the output is always in a specific JSON format. This node ensures that everything the AI agent generates follows the structure we need. Once we run the agent, we will analyze the configuration internally to review it together. This node has two main instruction areas. The first is the prompt, which is where we give the agent the topic. The instruction is simple and direct. You use EV, tell it. Analyze these clips and generate 3 threads following the rules of your system prompt. This is how the agent knows what to do with the information we are providing. These tags will allow you to customize and adapt your workflow without having to rewrite everything each time. You have to make sure this option is turned on and then set up the system message. This is a key part. This is the operations manual for our AI agent. Let's analyze it. You can screenshot it and use it as a reference for your workflows. Here, in this section, we tell the agent how it should behave. First, we define its role, which is what we expect the agent to do. We set unbreakable rules, what it must and must not do while working for us. We determine a structure for the thread to know how it should organize that information it generates. We also specify the criteria, the selection criteria, how it should choose the content and how it should organize it. And we define an output format, very important, that this format must be in JSON format. And within that JSON, it must include the scheduled time, which is essential for scheduling threads on Twitter. Once you have this ready, your AI node will be completely set up and ready to move on to the next step. Now we are adding a new code node, and this has a specific function. Now we need to ungroup the information into individual Twitter threads. Let's remember that in the previous step, the first code node was responsible for grouping all the items so that the agent could process them. Now we need to do exactly the opposite, ungroup them so they can be sent for publication one by one. So we add the code node to our workflow. This node takes the package returned by the AI agent and separates it into individual parts. When we run it, it generates a tweet 1, tweet 2, a third tweet, and a closing tweet, plus a posting schedule. All this is perfectly structured and ready for the next part of our workload. Once we have the threads ungrouped and ready, we are going to use blotato to publish them automatically. For that, we need to add an HTTP request node to our flow. By adding the HTTP request node to the workflow, we enter, and within the configuration, we select the post method because we are going to make a publication. In the URL field, you can use the link provided by blotato. If you don't have it on hand, you can go into their official documentation, and there you can find it. Basically, it is the main endpoint. Plus the path corresponding to the publication. Add your credentials, and to obtain them, you just have to go to Settings within blotato and scroll down to the section where you can generate your API key. Once you have it, you add it directly in the node. It is also very important to set up the publication schedule to define when it should be published and what should be published, which comes from the previous node. We will use a JSON code with the structure that blotato requires. This structure is also detailed in the documentation, right in the section where they explain how to schedule Twitter posts and threads. With this, your flow is all set to send the threads directly to blotato and have them automatically published. Before running the publication node in blotato, there is a very important detail we need to configure, and that is the account ID. We go back to N810 and check the HTTP request node. In the section where it says account ID, we need to make sure to enter the correct ID. And to get it, we go back to blotato, enter the settings section, and from there log into the social network where we want to automate the posts. In this case, we are using Twitter. Once you have logged into Twitter from blotato, you will see the option that says Copy Account ID. Click on it, copy that ID, and paste it directly into the Account ID section of your N810 node. We've already run it. The post has already been sent to blotato, so now you can go directly to the platform and check from the calendar section. There you will see how the posts and the scheduled times are organized. The next step is to add the Google Sheets node. We add the node to N8N2M, and the function of this node is simply to update the data. We will add our credentials and leave this configuration as default. We move to the next step, which would be to select the document we are working with. It's very important to update the option called Mapping Column Mode. What this option allows is to match the columns that need to be updated. In this case, we use the ID column. From there, we tell N8N that based on that ID, it should update the status using the dynamic labels coming from the previous node. What will happen is that it will change the status of each entry from for creation to done, indicating that this post has already been generated and scheduled. We run this step and check our spreadsheet. Ready? It was updated correctly. It generated 3 Twitter threads for us, each with its respective publishing schedule. And so, step by step, we built an automation that researches a topic, generates the Twitter threads, schedules them automatically, publishes for you, and records everything in a control sheet. In this case, in Google Sheets. I assure you, this is one of the secrets your community manager doesn't want you to know. Because today you learned how to build an agent that posts for you 24/7 and helps grow your social networks automatically. You already know that if you want this workload and many more ready to use, you can join our Meet the Duo community. The link is down here in the description. See you in the next video.